welcome here today for another of our kerfuffle testimonials. And what we're going to be doing here is finding out how one of the truly loveliest people in the industry, Mr. James White of Where We Belong, is going to be talking to us about Resi from Dezrez. First and foremost, though, James, it's all about you. How are you?
I'm really good, Simon. Always lovely to spend time with you. Today, not with a beer in hand, but there we go. No, it's great.
I don't know if we can be friends anymore. So you are in the middle of, you're at the end of dry January, but it's been such a success. You've saved £30,000. You've said no. You're going to continue.
Might be 3,000.
all that extra money for PropTech. Oh, it makes you feel good. So look, let's just talk about yourself for a minute here. Just give us a bit of context about yourself and the business so people understand where you're coming from.
Oh God, well, I've been around since the beginning of time. I think now with estate agency. I started in 1989 in a business with as an office junior, and I think we had a hand cranked printer, Simon. Nice. Black and white dot matrix photographs, that sort of stuff. No prop tech. Telephones with cables, it was all valves and wires and stuff.
I feel like we're going a bit too close to that old Monty Python sketch. Of course, we had it tough.
Back in the day.
Yeah, back in the day.
So yeah, but from the prop tech point of view, I've always, in estate agency, always wanted to be one of the first to do stuff.
Yeah.
So my estate agency background really is all I've ever known, and what we've always done, or I've always done in conjunction with business partners I've had in the past, is being prepared to be a guinea pig. So we're really happy to be early adopters of any tech, right back to things like mobile software for doing floor plans and stuff. I won't name any names, but we were one of the first to do floor.
We could do that. Mobile agent, wasn't it?
No, we can't do that. Mobile agent. Do you remember that?
You should love the little stylus.
The PMA with the stylus, yeah. And everybody's got wobbly head syndrome because they were like this with them.
Well, that was cutting edge tech, mate. That was
really very analog by today.
But what I liked about it, you do genuinely, you talk about actually, obviously you're fine and you're a keen adopter of tech, but you also take what I would take a quite serious view of it, don't you? I've heard you talk to Chris before, Mr. Watkins, obviously, talk about, avoiding the shiny baubles that are out there. And you see many estate agents, as of course, we ourselves do, who can get quite easily seduced by that side of things. So for you, prop tech is all about being a tool. Would that be fair to say? As long as it's clearly going to demonstrate a benefit to you, then it gets to you, at least on your radar.
Yeah, for me, in many respects, a lot of prop tech solutions, I come at it from the time saving element. Yeah. I think one of the most expensive things we have is staff time. Agencies are all about staff and advertising. That's your biggest cost base, really. I know we talk about high street now versus online, but it's still staff and advertising. So if you can save staff time, you're actually saving money. Because you're saving hourly rates. Simple as that, really.
So as long as you can turn them towards that classic, most dollar productive activity, saving them doing the admin, the menial, and everything else, that's a pretty good use of investment, then, yeah. Yeah,
definitely. And like I always say to a lot of my suppliers, if you're going to ask me to do one thing that takes more time than I'm used to using or taking up, then I want you to demonstrate to me how I can save time doing something else. So don't just layer stuff on. Yeah. If you're going to give me a new activity, I want something to be taken off me. Because actually, the more time you add to the process of selling houses, the more staff you're adding and the more cost.
Yeah, very true. So what attracted you first? How long have you been with Dezrez, and what attracted you to them in the first place?
Okay, so we started Belong. I know everybody calls it Where We Belong because that's the name of the website, but actually the business is called Belong. And we started this 5 years ago, about this week, really. So we were in its birthday period for us. And I was recommended to them by the guys at the Property Journal, Mike Smithson.
Yep.
Mike understood that I always wanted something that was cutting edge. And at the time, Resi was in its infancy.
Yep.
And I saw that as an opportunity to go back to what we said earlier about being not a trailblazer, but an early adopter.
Yeah.
Because I think if you get in early, you can not necessarily influence, but at least you can have some input in what these guys are doing. And also that enables you to build a relationship with them from the start. So
Some great advice there. I mean, yeah, that is really some very good advice there. The earlier you can often get in with the supplier, you do have the ability to be part of the process of development, as long as the company has a forward-thinking attitude there. And, you know, and the other thing is, if it's the right sort of product as well, it gives you a competitive edge as well if it delivers, doesn't it?
Oh, for sure. And right from the off, the thing that we liked most about Resi was it was cloud-based. Yeah. So from day one, we could use it on the road. And of course, everybody had laptops and tablets back then, but they weren't using them for agency as much as they can do nowadays. No. So we could leave a viewing, for example, and immediately email the client the feedback through the system. So not only you log into any CRM, but the client's getting immediate update. That in itself saves time, because one of the biggest consumers of time for estate agents is chasing viewing feedback, for example.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you show somebody around a house, Mr. Whale doesn't like it, the house smelled of dog, put it on the feedback, send the email on to the next one, and you've saved yourself 3 days chasing Mr. Whale, who doesn't really want to tell you that he thought it smelled of dog. Yeah. But similarly, if you get an offer immediately, you can start the negotiation straight away too.
And time kills deals in any industry, doesn't it, as well? So being able to be efficient. I mean, I hate the phrase, it's often used that, you know, being a mobile warrior, but, you know, all you have to think about is when there's so much time spent in the car and traveling around and everything else, it absolutely, you know, you have to have that kind of functionality these days, don't you, to be doing your best in the job, really.
And to just give you an example on that, really, 30 years ago, I used to do appointments at 45-minute intervals. Now I'm an hour and a half, and it's an hour and a half because of the traffic. Yeah. So again, you're losing lots more time out on the road because of the road, which costs you more money because you need to employ more people to cover the same amount of appointments. So every 5 or 10 minutes you can save your staff is brilliant. And Resi's always helped us to do that. And that's what I saw in it right from the beginning. Was it was an early adopter of cloud-based technology for estate agents. It's certainly from the CRM perspective, and it's been great ever since. Really love it.
Oh, it's good to hear. And a lot of the time, it can be quite difficult having, you know, just expecting things to work out of the box. I think, like all of us, whether it's a telephone or prop tech or whatever else there, but clearly you've got to get used to, especially with something as complex as a CRM system there. So how did they manage to handhold you? What was the onboarding like, I suppose, is the question.
Well, it was absolutely brilliant. They came to branch, gave us all in branch training. We could have gone to them. They could have done it remotely, but actually they came to see us, trained all the staff. And it's such an easy, intuitive system that it really doesn't take very long to move from what you've always known to Resi. Resi, it looks nice, it feels nice, and it's intuitive in so much as the journey through the CRM is an obvious one. There's nothing hidden, everything's easy to identify where you need to go next. And that's what your staff want, because the last thing you want to do as a business owner is put some software in that then your staff rebel against it, because actually you're just making the problem for yourself. And I've always found over the years that people don't like change, especially with new tech in agency. And one of the things that we've done in past lives is not cut the old systems off quickly enough. So with this sort of stuff, you've got to be brave. Yeah, you've got to be brave, cut it off, and actually Resi is so easy to get used to that process can be quicker as well. So you're not carrying 2 CRMs.
Yeah, so cut the umbilical cord, don't allow them to go back, you know, the rest of it. That's a really good bit of advice. That's really
get
good.
on with it, really. And, you know, absolutely no doubt at all, it was the best move we made at the time. So,
and as you said there, what's interesting is because sometimes there can be a difference of opinion between the business owner and their staff, but your staff have taken to this as well, like a duck to water.
Oh yeah, it's just intuitive. It's lovely, and I think because it's aesthetically pleasing as well, it's a nice platform to be on. A lot of agency CRMs are almost DOS based and in their appearance, but this is pretty, and that actually makes the desktop quite a nice environment to be as well.
If you're going to be sat, as many people, don't know if this is a depressing fact or not with CRM, but it's normally the first thing you turn off and the last thing you log out on. You might as well have something attractive and useful to be working with.
And we can't all have a background like yours there, Simon, or or a pretty face like yours to look at. So, a
yeah.
nice, pretty CRM.
Stop turning this about me. You know how I've told you. I've got to get you out to that market appraisal you told me on time. Stop distracting me.
Right, but it's £1 million house I'm going to see. So yeah, it's quite an expensive thing.
I'm not having you blaming me for that. That doesn't do my street cred any more good. But I tell you what, let me just think about this as you just highlighted my rather jaded career. And I was always quite a lazy salesperson. If you were just having to sell this to other agents, how would you sell Resi? What do you think the key strengths are?
All right, okay. So let's start with not with the system, but with the people. The guys at Resi, at Dezrez, are so easy to work with. They're affable. They know the stuff. They talk in plain language.
Yeah.
There's none of this tech speak. I'm sure you've got a second language somewhere, Simon, that you all go and gather around in dark corners and talk in ones and noughts. But these guys speak in plain English, and that makes life so much easier for those that don't understand all of the ones and noughts.
Yeah.
So that's a big thing. It's easy to join. I would say it's very, very good value for money for what you get. It's a full CRM system. It's not expensive, and but for me, it all started with the people. Richard Price, Richard Milner, dead easy to deal with.
He's a fantastic leader of people down there. I was down there at their offices the other day, and you can see that often it comes from the top, doesn't it? And you can see how the people are. They're all keen to help and everything else. There's some companies that can kind of close in on themselves a bit by being too technical. You've got none of that with those guys at all.
Yeah, I also think that Resi, by their own admission, probably deal with 1 to 10 branch estate agents. So they don't deal with God, how can I put this? A lot of the bully boy companies. I think the bigger companies get, the more they try to bully the suppliers, and that can change the behaviour of the suppliers as well.
Yeah.
So you can maintain an intimate relationship with these guys, not in the same way as you can with Kerfuffle, obviously. That's
what I was going to say. So let's hope those don't ever change, you bully boys, because that's what we're here to do.
We don't want too many of those in our lives. We haven't got room for too many Simon Wales. But anyway, but the guys down there, they maintain a personal attitude to customer service. So from the starting blocks, they are absolutely brilliant to deal with. When it comes to getting Resi into your branches, it's just the same as downloading an app, dead easy. And then you're off. So long as you've had your onboarding and your training, you'll find that the staff find a way around the system very quickly, and with the most modest amount of interference thereafter. But if you do need some support from Resi and Dezrez, they're always on the end of the phone. Or
the after support, which is of course just as important. That's there for you just as much as the other way around when you were going live.
Yeah, and going forward as a business owner, to have seen it evolve, it's got an open API which has allowed it to bolt on other suppliers really easily. So they're very good at solving problems. They're always talking to the clients about what's your next problem, how can we solve it. And the open API aspect of all of that allows them to
I know they've had it for a while, but over the last 2 years, that's really started to step up, isn't it? I don't think doesn't seem to be a week go by that I'm not on a call with Richard or something about some new tie-up with technology they're doing. And that's just not, you can sit, hopefully that means you can virtually sit back and relax and know those guys have got your back, as it were.
And actually, you can go to them with a solution that you need or a problem, and they'll find either a supplier who's prepared to build a solution, or they'll work with you to find a solution. So that they're very approachable in that regard as well. Yeah. But I think by the time they've finished with this, and whether they ever finish, because it's always a journey, you'll be able to run your entire estate as a business through the CRM. So there won't be any need to log on to a board suppliers. Or an EPC, you don't have to with EPCs or AML, that sort of stuff now. But absolutely every interaction, I think one day you'll have them all in one place.
And that's an interesting point just there, and because some people would be very fearful of having all their eggs in one basket. But I suppose what you're seemingly saying there is, as long as it's the right basket and the right company, you'd be more than happy to have that kind of efficiency gain, yeah?
Yeah, and I don't know how this necessarily would work, but I'm sure that it comes down to limitations of the supplier. I'm sure we could bring some of our suppliers to Resi and say, can you work with these people?
Yeah.
The supplier's still got to have the capability to do it, but they're the kind of company or Resi or Dezrez that will be open to that kind of conversation for sure.
Cool. Well, make sure you drive them via Kerfuffle first, because that's the obviously that's the way we play this. If I was to ask you then, just to get because I am promising, I am getting you out the door. You are winning that that £1 million instruction.
I've already got it. I'm going to do the pictures.
Oh, oh God. Just tell them you'll be an hour. You've got them now.
Well, it's a really nice house and the sun's out. I don't want to miss the sunshine, you see.
Oh, I suppose up north we don't have that luxury, do we? Not after that storm last night. So your final thoughts on Resi, though. You've mentioned there, like, the time-saving element, the people are important. Anything else about your overall experience with them in terms of how you feel?
Yeah, it's just a big thumbs up from us, really. We're sort of super fans, really. And, you know, as I say, it always starts with the people.
Yeah.
The technology backs it up. It's robust, Simon. That's important. It doesn't fall over.
Well, that's very good to hear, isn't it? That's really important to hear, because, you know, when these systems, as I say, they are the backbone of your business, you can't have them going up and down, can you? So
no, definitely not. Definitely not. And so there's none of that nonsense. It's constantly evolving, and it's very good value for money. So yeah, it's just what we want.
I'm going to start sobbing up here. So you had me.
The more of this I do, the bigger the hamper at Christmas will be. You do know.
You're not allowed to say that. You had me at super fans was how I was going to leave it. Okay, the thumbs up is good, and I like the Caesar style approach to that. But look, just so that we can give them a full proper review on the site, if you had to rate them out of 5 stars, on the belief that it's not going to be to a local competitor, your missus, for example, how would you rate them at 5 out of 5 stars? 5 being the best, of course.
Of all of the, well, 5 of all of the CRM suppliers I've ever spoken to, these guys are by far the best. So 5 out of 5 from me.
Perfect. That's lovely to hear from you. And it's obviously, James, as ever, an absolute pleasure having you on. I look forward to it again. You go, you take the best possible photos you could possibly do.
Thanks, Simon. Have a good afternoon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.